Hey, 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 hey. Guess what time it is? It's that time. It's the time for the mainstream. And you know what? We're definitely in the mainstream because we got mainstream guests today.
Are you
Let,
back in Japan?
I am back in Japan. That's why you got that big American
Jeez.
flag behind me.
Man.
I'm also gonna put a shotgun back there one of these days. Just so that I look like straight, I'm like, all right, my inner, like, I bring, it's my little America here. Okay.
Are you allowed to get those in Japan?
Well, they got the toy ones. Actually, the funny
Okay.
thing is about Japan is that they actually have super, like, they don't have these laws out here that the U.S. has, where you had to, if it's a replica, it has to like have these different things on it, like the
Mhm.
barrel has to be orange and all this stuff. So don't get scared right now, okay? Because I'm going to show you a replica of a
Shanghae Busagan
uh, yeah,
midstream.
of a yeah, it's a Glock 26.
Nice replica.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's a lighter.
It's a lighter.
Yeah, it is a lighter. See, like the
I
clip,
can tell.
the clip is an ashtray. Yeah. So this thing is a lighter, but it looks totally, and it weighs the same pretty much as the real thing. And you can even cock it the same and everything. So
Do,
it's just
do you need me to go downstairs and get my Glock out of my safe?
is
You
is
can
it
compare.
but is it a lighter though? Because this one is a lighter.
No, mine's not a
Because
lighter. I live in
you can see
America.
in the barrel, you can see the barrel. See, like the barrel is a lighter. Yeah, but out here, okay. See, now we're gonna be like chest size. Like, you guys are promoting gun violence
Please,
on the
someone clip
mainstream.
this.
This is completely unacceptable. You bastards. Yeah, sorry if we triggered somebody. No pun intended. Get it? Get it? Trigger? Get it? Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm gonna do that. But we are here, and look, I was gonna give the audience a multiple choice. Okay, so we have a mainstream Cardano guest today. It's not Brian. It's not me. Uh, it's Lucas. Hey, Lucas, say hi to everybody. That's
Everyone.
the wrong way, Brian. You're pointing the opposite way. There you go. Yeah, there you go. What's up,
Hey guys,
Lucas?
thank you
What's
for
up,
Yeah.
inviting
buddy?
me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, so as some of you might know, I just spent quite a bit of time in Argentina, in Lucas's neck of the woods. We did some really good
He didn't
business
want to
over there.
leave.
Oh
He
yeah,
never
yeah.
left.
It's like I like I feel like I was like living there, because it was like 2 weeks or something, and it was great. I love Argentina, and not just because you eat red meat like 3 times a day, which you do,
Yep,
which
yeah, we did.
you do. It's like the only meal I don't think I had asado for breakfast, but I did have for lunch and dinner. And
I think
then
we had different cuts, so we never get bored of it. Some different type of meat,
How
you know.
yeah,
how could you get bored of it? I mean, I need.
no, it's like everywhere. It's like, oh, so you want the asado, but no, we have the best asado. But then I I was taken to apparently well, not but the most expensive asado in all of Argentina. Now I wish certain
Don
somebody.
Julio, right?
Well, yes, I wish certain somebody that will remain nameless that didn't tell me that it was like the most expensive asado place in Argentina would have told me that before he offered to pick up the entire check. And I was like, wait a second, is this in pesos or like what is this? I'm like, wait. I looked at him like, wait a second, what's the exchange rate? Because that seems high.
Expensive.
Yeah, and like, wait, no, what? Oh, okay. I guess I have to pick it up. Yeah, but thanks for the warning.
To be fair, he did took you to probably one of the most famous places
It was
in
delicious. I mean, it was
Argentina. Every
amazing. Like
time
it
a
really.
celebrity comes here, they eat there, like prime minister,
Yeah, no, it,
celebrities,
it it was great. I
whatever.
mean, it was amazing. It's just well, okay. So we got a first question. It sounded better than pancakes at IHOP. It's like you're conflating here. There's totally two different things. Okay, like for example, Lucas's family owns a chain of coffee shops, right? Yeah,
Yep.
which we actually went to for breakfast every day, pretty much every day when we were in Buenos Aires, and we had pretty much every single day avocado toast with like 6 poached eggs.
Oh, 6? Really?
6, yeah. Theo is like an eggs, so like Theo can single-handedly like destroy a full country's reserve of eggs and mayonnaise. Like that guy,
Eggs
yeah,
and
yeah.
mayonnaise?
He's got like a thing for eggs and mayonnaise. Eggs, yeah, but mayonnaise, I'm like, I'm 46, cholesterol,
Is that like
heart
a
attacks, not
good thing or
cool.
what?
Not cool. Gotta watch it now. Can't eat like a tub of mayonnaise with my meal. But anyway, yeah. So that was really nice. But that was yeah, not pancakes, but that was really nice. But yeah, you know what I would actually like to have is pancakes with asado. So we have
Why?
why, Lucas? Okay, I'll explain to you why when you come to the U.S. and I introduce you to this. Okay, this is a very American thing: steak and eggs with pancakes. It's a thing. Don't make that face. Don't make. I can see the face. Okay, don't make the
I
face.
can withstand having the milkshake with the fries, but pancakes with meat?
Listen, trust me on this. Okay, I know Argentina doesn't do the whole like heavy meats for breakfast thing,
Yep.
but it's actually really good if you do it right. If you do it right with I forgot what is that cut called that you have. It's like the I forgot it. Like everybody always has it. It's like the abs or something. What is that one called? It's really
Mira,
popular.
asado.
Yeah, and the
There's so
asado,
many.
it's like a long, it's like a skirt steak basically.
Oh, very
And
thin, entraña.
yeah. That one. Yeah, like all the old timers always get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a good cut.
yeah.
I
Well,
already talked about Miro and Cardano, but it's a good cut, but it has to be very well prepared. If
yeah,
not,
it has to be. Yeah, because I've eaten some that haven't been very well prepared, and they get rubbery. Right? If it's not well prepared,
yeah,
it's rubbery. It's
yeah.
very. Yeah, I know. Listen, I know you didn't come here to talk about asado all day.
I'm having fun, to be honest.
Because that's what you already do living in Argentina. Because I know I was there for 2 weeks, and we literally spoke about asado at least a dozen times a day, which is a good thing.
Yep.
It's a great thing. And then I went to now I just told Brian it's not Paraguay, it's Paraguay, right? Yeah, that's how you're supposed to say it,
Paraguay.
Paraguay. Yeah, I went to Paraguay and we had asado there, but that's because there was a bunch of Argentinians there, so they kind of like, like it migrated over there as well. So yeah, it was nonstop asado. I was thinking like, is this okay or am I gonna die? Like, am I supposed to eat this much red meat, or is there gonna be just like some sort of like red meat overload? Because I just ate so much red meat. I'm just thinking, I'm like, should I be worried?
You probably should be. You probably should be.
Like what? Anyway,
But
I'm
did you
okay
try?
though.
Did you try the rest of the food? Have you tried Argentina pasta or pizza, for example?
Yeah, remember I tried it with you the first time I was there. You took me to that
Oh
Italian
yeah, the
place,
Italian place. Yeah,
yeah, like by the obelisk, I think. Not right near
yeah.
the obelisk,
In
but
La
close to the
Recoba,
obelisk.
it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was amazing. The pasta over there was amazing. Like the yellow pasta, the corn pasta, that stuff was like I never had stuff like that before.
Listen, I know we could sit here and talk about food all day long.
Yeah, Brian,
and trust me, I'd like food too.
Brian is gonna be the party pooper. He's gonna be.
I'm gonna be the party
Hey
pooper.
guys, can we talk about some stuff?
I want to talk
food related.
I want to talk about blockchain because I'm gonna get hungry and I got to be here for the next 45 minutes. If y'all keep talking about food, I'm gonna have to leave and go get some food.
Brian is like, okay, guys, you keep talking about food, I'll be right back. Yeah, comes back with like a bowl of pasta. It's like, okay, let's do this. Yeah. Anyway, listen, let's get a little blockchainy here. Good to see you. I am super bullish at Argentina. I mean, and I was saying, look, I was, and you remember this. You remember this
Mhm.
when the first time we started talking about me coming out to Argentina back in earlier in the year. You know, it was like, what was it, like
June,
April or May?
June.
And I was skeptical,
Yeah,
because I mean it's my job as as the CEO. You know, it's my job to be a skeptic every single time you go somewhere. You're going to be spending a bunch of money before you start making a bunch of money. I mean,
yeah,
that's just I know it's kind of like a very cold and calculated way of saying it, but really that's what it's about, right? You go somewhere, you to a new jurisdiction, there's business there. Okay, we have to develop business that takes money, right? So that's an investment. As a company, are we going to make that investment? And that investment adds up. You know, it's not just like, oh, we'll just go over there. It's like a couple of $1,000 for plane tickets. That's nothing. It's like, oh, and it's another $1,000 for lodging. Oh, that's nothing. But then it's like adds up and adds up and adds up. And then before you know it, bring a couple of people out there, you spend like $50,000, and that adds up. So I was really, really, and plus, like I said, I wanted to understand what is going on over there. Why am I over all the other places? And there's a lot of different, there's Africa, there's Southeast Asia, there's all these different places that also have a really good like developing ethos right now. And why Argentina, why LATAM over um these places? And I'll tell you why. Especially in the past year, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Lucas, but in the past year, because you live there. I mean, I've only been out there like 3 times in the past 6 months, but I haven't been out there before that. But it seems to me like the entire region is in this. I mean, especially recently in this like pivotal moment of change right now. There's a lot of change happening right now, like real change. Not that it's like, oh, well, it's 5 years, blah, 10 years. Like it's happening now. And it started to happen pretty recently, I think, with the Malay administration coming in. Because I also, I dealt with Argentina before, back in the IOG like pre-sale days. We had an Argentinian team, ATIX, which is now Globen, that I was managing. So I know how it was before, and now it just seems like there's this there's like this spring happening over there. And I mean, is that a right way to put it?
yeah. Argentina is in a very special situation if you compare it to the rest of Latin America. But in Argentina in particular, I think we are seeing like the beginning of a change. I don't think we're changing yet. A lot has been done in the past administration of Milei. He just turned a year since he arrived to office, and I think the overall sensation, at least from the tech and blockchain um, industry or sector, is that we are all seeing changes, and we are all willing to be part of the changes. Right? It's not like it's just the administration doing stuff, but now it's administration in conjunction with the actual private sector. And I think that is where we as entrepreneurs or builders um, actually have hope that we can participate in that process, right? um, for years now we've seen the world change, and now we are part of that change as a blockchain and as Cardano. And I think that brings people hope, right? It makes people excited about being part of a change and actually changing their lives.
Absolutely, and really, one of the things that was really refreshing to me is how open people are to utilizing on-chain assets, to utilizing blockchain in various different things, tokenization. Everywhere you went, everybody was talking about tokenization,
Yeah,
young and old. I had somebody, the president of a bank, probably in his late 60s, early 70s, maybe older. I think I must have been late 60s at the very least, talking about tokenization. Like we need it, we need it. So, and that's very refreshing because, and some of them don't exactly understand how it works under the hood, but they understand I guess the benefits, the real benefits of doing it. And also, the other thing that I've noticed is that because Argentina was just so kind of closed for so long, it was kind of a closed economy. And now that all of these opportunities are coming out, people are almost like, some people are actually making the mistake of thinking that just because it's not this like old school Argentinian, the bad stuff that we don't have to deal with it anymore. This stuff that's out there is not going to be just as bad. Like, dealing with some banks, for example, or dealing with some of these financial sectors. It's like, well, now I can actually collateralize my assets, and I can actually do this, and I can take out a loan against my land, and I can say, yeah, but you sell your soul to a bank, and that's still not that good. You still can get screwed. Even though it might not be corruption, it's just bankers. It's like it's just the house always wins. So yeah, so it's really refreshing to see. Now let's go to let's stick with Cardano here, and we'll talk about the other opportunities later on. But really, you were very instrumental in getting this momentum in Argentina, and you were kind of like the guy over there, and you and Mauro and a couple other people were really the people over there that kind of made the constitutional convention happen. um Now I got a couple of questions for you. One is the one that we're gonna ask you, but the other one is kind of like my own that I still wonder about. So the first one, so the Cardano community signed a constitution at the Constitutional Convention. So explain the significance of that. What does that really mean for Cardano, for the entire movement, and even the blockchain movement in general, because that's kind of a first time anywhere, I think, that happened.
Yeah, so Cardano always took the route of doing stuff different, not because it's an easy path or it's the best path or it's a good path or easy path. Sorry, it's because it's the right path, you know. And in Cardano, I really feel we took this seriously when talking about governance. And what most blockchains decided to go to the direction of a foundation leading or a company leading or whatever organization leading the actual governance of the blockchain. In Cardano, we really took it seriously and said this should be community led, right? It shouldn't be one foundation leading, it shouldn't be a company or a founder. It must be from the community. Of course, this is not an easy task to do. So what the community and the most active leaders in the Cardano governance has been doing is a series of workshop which was over the past 2 years, and we started gathering feedback from people all around the world about how our community-led government should look like, right? CIP 1694 document was created. It was debated last year, 2023. I think there were over 30 workshops around the world, and there was a community meet in Edinburgh where delegates from workshops came over the world and discussed this government. And one of the first things that arise when we talk about how this decentralized government um, looks like, it was okay. We can have the best governance system in the world. We can have an amazing decision-making process, but eventually you're gonna need something that leads the way. You need a set of principles that lead and help you as a voter to decide on where we want to go as an ecosystem. And that's where the necessity of a constitution arises, because we need a set of principles to actually guide our voting process. So yeah, 2024, there was a big effort on constitution workshops. So there was an initial constitution draft, and there I think there were 63 workshops around the world where people from 50 countries or over 50 countries gathered and debated how a constitution should look like. There was an initial draft. There were many versions, and eventually each of these workshops elected two people to represent them for a Cardano Constitutional Convention, right? So we have 63 delegates and 63 alternates with them, and we all gather in December in Buenos Aires and in Nairobi for the Cardano Constitutional Convention. In there, we have a 3-day event where we debated, we made some changes, we made some voting, and eventually we came up with a pretty good draft on the Constitution. That event that will be the version that will be published on chain for voting. So it's not like the constitution was already signed. That's a very important part. This is a pre-approval, if you want it, right? It has the legitimacy of over 1,400 people participating throughout the whole process. 63 delegates which signed the constitution. It had a 95% approval rate. And yeah, I feel, at least as me as one of the delegates for Argentina, I feel that we got to a good enough point that we can pass the constitution, and eventually, like what was mentioning when I started, is actually get a constitution for Cardano, which will lead the government of the future of Cardano. And eventually you can think in more practical terms. What does this mean to Cardano? Basically, it help us organize ourselves, from a community perspective. We are no longer following institutions. Now we are doing it ourselves. We are creating committees, working groups, and a lot of stuff. Yeah, you want to say something, Brian?
Yeah, I want to kind of ask you a question
Yeah.
based off of just what you were saying there, right? And you touched on some of these points, but decentralized governance is hard, and other blockchains have tried it, and some, I don't know that anybody has truly succeeded, right, at this point.
Mhm.
There's a lot of challenges that come along with a decentralized government. Can you maybe talk about what you see as some of the challenges that face us here in the near future as we try to actually finalize that constitution?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of challenges, and the main challenge we have right now as an ecosystem is participation, right? Um, Cardano has a system based on liquid democracy, basically meaning that you can delegate your vote to a DREP, which we know as a DREP, which is a representative on the government that votes, basically. And right now, the main concern I have is the amount of people delegating and participating in this system. To give you an example, currently we have 9% of the ADA delegated to governance or to a DREP. So only 9% of the ADA out there is participating in governance. And if we want, for example, to pass something that will change the future of Cardano, we will only need 51% of that 9%. So eventually, we're thinking only 5% of the ADA delegated can change the future of millions of people, right? So I think right now the challenge for 2025 is to get those numbers up. It's going up recently with some wallets integrating delegation and everything. But that's the main concern is getting people involved, getting people participating, getting people delegating. And then we have a second challenge which people are not talking enough about, but it's probably even more even harder than getting delegation, which is basically how are we gonna organize ourselves? Because yes, we have an on-chain system, we have voting, we have all the structure you want, but we are not taking into account the human factor, right? How do we organize ourselves in groups? If we have a goal, right, we can vote on what the goal is, but then how do we organize ourselves on executing that goal? Are we gonna create hundreds of working groups, which is what's happening right now? How are we gonna coordinate so many groups? How are we gonna coordinate a uniting message as an ecosystem? So that's gonna be a huge operational task for Cardano. And right now, uh, I think we need to start scoping what the processes are, what the needs are, and then we can start thinking how we solve that. But yeah, basically those are the two problems I see for Cardano. No, no problem, but concerns we have.
And you mentioned one thing was the participation, right? And
Yeah,
and I know that people can delegate to what is called a D rep, and I do believe
yeah,
you're a D rep, correct?
of course, yeah,
Can you
yeah,
talk
Manuel.
about that process and just how people can do that for those that are listening that may be interested in delegating their ADA so that they don't have to physically do the voting and do the research themselves? Can you talk about that just for a moment?
Yeah, I think it's very important to address why we need DREPs. In an ideal world, everyone would be voting directly on decisions. But the thing is, most people actually don't care about voting, right? Everyone says that they want to vote, but when it comes to reality, most people don't participate, right? We are even seeing it right now. So the concept of liquid democracy or representative democracy is that you delegate your vote to someone. And in doing it in a liquid way, you can give your vote to someone, but you can also remove it. That's the most important part is that when someone you trust your vote with doesn't align with what you believe, or does something wrong, or you don't believe in those values anymore, you can just withdraw your delegation and go with another, or eventually you can become your own representative. Everyone can be a participant of the as a DREP. You only need 500 ADA as a deposit. That will, then you can take it back if you retire, and that's the idea. The ideal goal is that everyone becomes a DREP. But if you are not that involved in Cardano, which is the case for 99% of the ADA holders, you can just delegate to someone. I'm a DREP. There are over 600 DREPs right now. Each DREP has its own style. They focus on different stuff. Mainly, what I believe as a DREP right now is we have two key problems I want to solve. One is adoption. Is actually getting a proper marketing strategy for Cardano. Cardano right now has different narratives. We have hundreds of narratives. I think we as an ecosystem or as a government body, we should try to focus on one and push for that, and the whole ecosystem can rally behind it and actually send a message to the world, right? Right. And the second, I really believe is going to be a huge deal, and I've been doing that in Argentina for the past year, is actually getting companies on board, right? I don't think mass adoption will come for people buying ADA. Sorry, I don't think it's gonna come for using DeFi protocols. At least for the DeFi protocols we're talking today, I think it's gonna come from big companies integrating, right? Companies integrating solution for decentralized identity, eventually tokenization of data, to tokenization of real world assets, right? So that's what I believe as a DREP, is take a pragmatic view into Cardano as a protocol and say, hey, we need those companies. Hey, we need actually send a proper message, and we actually need to be pragmatic about it and see how we get a practical approach to onboarding.
Yeah, I mean, I always agreed with that sentiment that I mean, the blockchain, I guess, ecosystem in general is a really unique ecosystem. It's the first one that I've ever seen that is that big. That's got so much. I don't know how else to put it, but kind of blockchain for blockchain stuff. I mean, like thousands of DeFi protocols and this and that, and on chain tooling and this and that, but very very little kind of like killer mainstream adoption. What is the mainstream app? What is the killer app for the mainstream? There just isn't. Nobody has one. I mean, nobody has one. If you think about it, and the thing is, the size of this market is so big, but it's still just the siloing is so big that it seems like it's open, but it's not open, because we're 3 trillion or whatever, how many trillion we are right now. You think like, oh my god, a multi-trillion-dollar market, like the .com boom was multi-trillion-dollar. Or not even, it was actually smaller, but it was a lot more mainstream open, right? Even though there were a bunch of these useless bullshit .coms that didn't really do anything, or these IPOs that just out of somebody's basement that became multi-million-dollar companies that didn't really exist. You did have a lot of things like like Amazon came out of that, Netflix came out of that, all these, eBay came out of that. I mean, it's not as relevant now, but it used to be. A lot of social media came out of that. I mean, modern social media came out of that. YouTube came out of that. I mean, it was around before that a little bit, but mainly boomed during that. So you did have a lot more kind of mainstream, like your mom and your dad can use this type of stuff. Versus now, you have a market that's actually significantly larger than the .com boom. And of course, that was 25 years ago, but still, it's significantly larger. And you still don't have that. You still don't have, like, your mom and pop would use this and they would get why you use it. I don't have to explain YouTube. It's like YouTube, yeah, you watch stuff. That's you can watch a lot more entertaining stuff. I mean, that's really, of course, it's a really kind of short explanation that doesn't really engulf everything, but the same with Amazon. Even back then, Amazon was books. That was basically the book, book.io of the 90s and then the early 2000s. Because the Amazon Amazon wasn't the Amazon of today. Amazon wasn't the buy anything online, spaceships and AWS. It was just books. They sold books. But still, what does Amazon do? They sell all sorts of books. Oh, cool. Okay, like all sorts of books. I mean, that was mainstream viable. So yeah, I totally agree with you that mainstream adoption, kind of industrial adoption, is the way to go. And that's what's going to do it for us. And this is why at Zengate, we're not building another DeFi protocol, even though, some are needed, of course. We're not building another, DEX or whatever, even though some are needed, not every single one out there, but some are needed. We're into kind of mainstream adoption, and it is hard, but that's how you do it. And really, what I really want to ask you is, so we were speaking in the beginning of the show, we were kind of talking about the viability of the region, right? Like the viability of LATAM and how, how things are kind of blossoming over there. And it's just like really, for the right people, it's like really the land of opportunity right now, because there's just so much opportunity out there to get adoption for this tech. I mean, mainstream adoption for this tech, really. It's not just, oh, we'll try it out. Oh, it's going to be a pilot of a pilot. It was like, they want it. They want to go. We have literally legitimate established businesses, mainstream businesses wanting to tokenize stuff, wanting to, go and Endeavor and do an STO and Endeavor. I mean, it's just like old school businesses. So there's that opportunity there. So what I want to ask you is, so a project just like we did, right? Just like what I did, going over there, kind of figuring it out, having people like you help us out, obviously helped us out a lot before I went over there. But if a project wants to go and expand into LATAM, expand into Argentina, and then just into the region, what suggestions do you have for them? How do they do it? How do you see it playing out?
I think in my experience, I don't know if this was my case on just blockchain or just Latin America, you just start talking to as many people as you can. If you don't have the funds to go there in person, try to do it virtually. If you don't, maybe you can try hiring someone on the spot itself, and just talk to people. You'll get so far with just talking with the right person. So if you get the right people on a call, you can create $1 million companies, right? And I think what you guys are doing at Zengate is an amazing progress, right? You came here, you had some meetings, you have some coffees, and you get closing some huge deals. So I would recommend, depending on your budget, is to maybe come here, come to Argentina, come to whatever country you're focusing, and start talking to as many people as you can, and you will be weeks ahead or months ahead of where you were before, just by talking with people.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, sorry, Brian, I'll let you jump in there in a minute, but that's a very good point. It's actually something that I was kind of skeptical about, but then I just figured it out. Or at least I think I did. You go to LATAM, you go to Argentina, and like somebody knows somebody always. There's always somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can help you out.
Sorry, isn't that the case on the rest of the world, or is it only in
It's
Argentina,
not.
Latin America?
Well, so in the rest of the world, it's usually bullshit.
Okay.
Like 90% of that is bullshit. In Argentina, it's not really. I mean, not really. There's a lot more viability there. People are a lot more hungry, and they're not trying to, pull a fast one on you. They really are, like, I'll give you an example, right? We were in Salta, and we were renting a car to go to Jujuy, I think. For those who don't know, those are provinces in Argentina. And so the car rental guy, Kufa, Facundo, who works for us for Zengate Argentina, he started talking to the guy who brought us the car, right? And turns out that this guy is doing some like masters or something on EV and recycling technologies, and can connect us to, like scientists that can help us with We're exploring sustainability in EV, in EV and lithium sourcing. And it's like just at random, is this guy who brought us the car just happens to know this other guy, and he just happens to be in this program, and it just all connects. It's really amazing, and the access, if you are serious over there, I just feel like it. And again, Lucas, don't I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I got really excited being over there, because you just have all this amazing access to everything. If you say the right things, of course, if you're really there, not to, because also people are like, I think over there they can kind of tell a lot faster if you're full of crap or not, right?
Yep.
There's a lot, like the bullshit meter is really good,
We
right?
are used to it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, if you start the bullshit, they're gonna be like, okay, no, get out of here. But if you don't, I mean, like, and again, this is not like to, to name drop or anything, but I was literally like, I mean, an inch away from meeting the president. That's how much access you have. We had a meeting with one of his advisors, and unfortunately, President Malay wasn't available because he was giving his State of the Union that day. So
Yeah, just given the State of the Union, yeah.
Yeah, it was an important date. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the day I'm talking about, right? And they still
Yeah.
try to squeeze us in. They still just like, okay, we can give you 5 minutes, but we don't know when. It didn't happen, obviously, but it was like on the brink of happening. And this is, again, because if they see real opportunity, they'll give you access. They'll say, okay, go for it. See what you can do. They won't try to like gatekeep, and well, maybe, I'm sure there's gatekeeping everywhere, but I mean, it just doesn't feel like, it feels like everybody, when they see something viable, they go for it, and they give you access because they know it's going to be better for them as well. So yeah, it's very, it's very refreshing to see that, because like I said, in an environment where there is perceived openness, there's quite a lot of bullshit, and LATAM just doesn't it seems a lot more like straightforward about it. And I mean, I know, do you have anything to add about that, Brian?
Well, I want to ask Lucas a question just based off of what you were saying, right? You gave me kind of like the highlight part of your story while you were in Argentina. You find that most people don't bullshit over there, right? And their bullshit level or meter is pretty high. What really stood out with you while working with industries and corporations kind of over there in Argentina with their reception? What kind of stood out to you mostly? Dan says it's the bullshit meter for him.
I think actually, is what Dan said is spot on. If you talk with the right people, those people will take you where you need to go, right? If you already have a decent enough product, and if you have a well prepared idea of where you want to go, or at least what he was talking, if you're not talking shit, if you actually know what you're talking about, people will take you seriously. And I think that's the case also in Argentina, that when people from outside the country can come to us, we are very open to that, and even we are giving more priority to people outside of the country. So yeah, if you got with a good idea, and you talk with the right people, you will definitely move forward.
And it seems like the government is real. They're not pushing away blockchain, right? They're accepting it. And a lot of them, we see, Cardano being celebrated down in Argentina, a lot of different places. What has been your interactions with different governments, right? We heard Dan kind of got really close to, and I can't say who he actually met with, but got pretty close to the president, right? What is kind of your actions like with the government down there? What's their response?
Well, I try to talk with as many people as possible throughout the last year. With Dan coming here, but other companies like IoG coming here, we got the opportunity to talk with a lot of people from the public sector. It was very fun, talking about Cardano to government leaders. We got to meet with secretaries, ministers, congressmen, everything, and the reception has been great. I think there is a big issue to tackle on the actual okay, let's go out from the ideal world to actually talk about how we make stuff. And that's, I think that's the case for the overall blockchain industry. So, okay, yes, we like the technology, we see the potential for it, but now bring me solutions. And I think that's where we as an ecosystem, if we are seriously about going to Argentina and developing government solutions to Argentina, okay, who is building government solutions, right? So there's a big point over there to say, let's build the stuff, let's build the prototype, the proof of concept, whatsoever, and people are receptive to talking about it. And also something to keep in mind, well, in every country, the different parties, right? Um, Milei is only half of the country. There's the other half of the country which doesn't feel represented to him. Besides ideology, I think we should talk to everyone. And it's also Milei can push blockchain or entrepreneur measures as a government, but then you can also talk with the provinces, you can talk with the municipalities. There are where you can talk with the Senate, you can talk with the House. So there are many people that are interested into that. It's not only the government is pushing this. It's a whole branch of different organizations of people that want to make this succeed. And at least in my point of view, what I think we did best if we tried to talk to as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's actually a really good. I mean, what we just said is actually really important as well. So, I should have done it by now, but what type of government is Argentina? Is it a republic? Are you a republic of Argentina, or what do you consider?
Yeah, Argentina Republic.
Yeah, it's a republic. Yeah, yeah, it's a republic because the government is set up similar to actually American government, where you have federal level and then state level legislators and legislations. And so what you said is actually really important. This is actually something that we did and we had to do. We keep having to do is so. I mean, you can talk to the federal government and you can get movement in some things, but you also have to talk to the provinces individually. You have to talk to the provincial governors. You have to talk to the provincial ministers, representatives in that particular province, and actually different provinces have different laws, right? So some things are legal in some provinces that are not legal in other provinces. There are some practices that are sanctioned in one place and is not okay in another place. I mean, there's a difference between, like, say, legislation in Cordoba and legislation in Catamarca. It's different. So it's very important to know how to, like what you said, to be able to navigate all these different levels. And that's also something that I would say that if I was asked that question, what my suggestion is, don't get stuck on photo ops. Don't get stuck on, like, it's like, oh man, if I get a photo with Malay, I'm going to get some Twitter engagement for sure. Yeah, but, and then what? And besides, like, what are you going to talk to him about? I mean, yeah, you can get access. Yeah, okay, yeah. If you know the right people, it's not impossible. You can get access, but what are you going to talk about? I mean, take some photos. It's like, hi, I'm here to do business. They'll do the whole, cool thing and send you on your way. But the whole point is, it's not just for you to be like taking photos, but for you to actually get support, right? Because if you're going there for business, you want to get you want to get his support. You want to get his support on some sort of, technological adoption, to cut some red tape for you, to connect you to the right people, to kind of put you into the right pipeline for things. So that's very important, to really understand, like, what exactly you're there to do, because I think that's a lot of projects stumble on that. They will go somewhere and they'll get really excited about things and they'll say, well, oh, I want to meet this guy, I want to meet that guy. It's like, okay, sure. What do you want to talk to them about? What is it? And that's the thing. You go to the local government, you go to the provincial government, and you actually can get a lot more movement in that province, because the federal government can dictate everything that the province does. And again, you get different laws between, like, between Cordoba, Catamarca. You got La Rioja's got their own laws. Even have their own money. La Rioja, right? I forgot, what is it called?
It's touch.
The Chacho. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah. So for again, for those of you who don't know, and that's the only province that has their own money, right?
I think some of them threatened to do that, but I think they are the only one that actually did it.
Yeah, La Rioja. Yeah, La Rioja. Because when we met with the vice governor, they actually gave me the chacho, right? The chacho.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. They gave me like I have it somewhere. It's an actual it's an actual banknote from the Bank of La Rioja. Yeah. So again, it's very important to talk to the local uh people and to talk to the local governments and to really coordinate with those. So yeah. So okay, let's kind of let's get into a little bit more of outlook in
Meat.
the future here.
Asado.
Um, yeah, I want to talk about a little bit more about the outlook on the future. So, how viable do you think it is for Argentina, say, to be the first one to adopt, say, on-chain voting or things like some anti-corruption auditing measures, things like that? I mean, how feasible do you think it is right now?
I think people on X are often over sensationalist. You know, um, one thing is that Argentina is open for business and prioritizing AI, prioritizing entrepreneurs, or even blockchain. But it's a whole different thing to go from that to actually get a blockchain system implemented or a Cardano thing implemented over there, right? So I think we need to be realistic about it. Yes, they are open to doing stuff like that. Yes, they know about blockchain. Yes, they know about Cardano and other ecosystems because we are not the only ones over there. Right? It's a reality. Every blockchain founder has been in Argentina this year. Um, in October, I think there was the founder of ICP, the founder of Avalanche, Charles was there. Vitalik is here right now, for example. Gavin was here also this year. So if you start seeing around, you see that everyone is involved here, and we need to be realistic and actually push for a better product. And that's what I meant when I say, let's get something ready to implement, because that's when they took you seriously. That's what happened with Sengate. You already got a product, you want something to sell, and they took you seriously. So as an ecosystem, I think we really got an interesting opportunity here. If we develop, for example, a voting mechanism, but yeah, who is developing this, right? And there's an interesting opportunity. We as an ecosystem, we might want to develop it, right? Or maybe IOG does, or maybe the Cardinal Foundation does, or whatsoever. But yeah, I think we need to be realistic that it's a long way. Um, Milei can talk about blockchain all you want, but he has a country to run. He has an inflation, he has poverty, he has many, many, many problems right now. And blockchain can be a solution for most of them, but I don't think it's something that he's dying to try right now. Right? He has elections next year, so I just want to be as realistic as possible. I think there are things to implement. I think those will come most likely from the municipality level, from the province level, or from the private sector. And I think once he sees that, we can start talking about doing that in the public sector. I don't know, maybe it takes a year, maybe it takes 3 years, 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing is like governments don't move at a fast pace, right? Like even slower than businesses. Businesses move at a crypto is always like 1 month seems like 3 years, right? So I think the difference is to set realistic expectations when it comes to that kind of thing. And I think you did a great job. I got one more question, and then I have a little fun segment that we're going to do before we wrap it up.
Cool.
But what are you most looking for in 2025? What most excites you about the upcoming year and everything that's going on in Argentina and Cardano together? What is like your driving factor?
I think from my point of view, what I like most is marketing, right? And actually getting Cardano to the place it deserves. Actually create an effective communication strategy for Cardano, which eventually can push all of the products we are all building here, right? All of our projects. If we get a clear storytelling, a clear narrative for Cardano, and a clear plan for Cardano's growth, I think that would be what makes Cardano different, right? And we are getting there, right? And that's what I intend to push some of my time in 2025 to actually get that sorted out as an ecosystem. Of course, it's not something that I'll do alone. It's thousands of people in this effort, but that's what really makes me excited is to actually get Cardano to where it deserves.
Yeah, it makes me excited that you're going to be working on it with the other thousands of people, and you guys do great work. Especially, you guys put a lot of work in down there in Argentina, and it's appreciated throughout the whole ecosystem for sure. But we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have a little rapid. I'm going to fire some questions at you, little rapid fire to get to know you a little better. But we're going to start this, and then Dan's going to kind of wrap up the show. But the first question is: morning routine or night owl?
Oh man, I've been struggling with this for so much time. I like to wake up early, but I just can't. Like it's
So you're a night
there.
owl.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
First block.
I would like to think that I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. First blockchain projects you ever worked on?
First blockchain. When I first started with Token Allies, which is a project I'm running right now, we've been doing that for almost 4 years now. We iterated a lot, and when we started, I started it because I envision a great future for tokenization. Right, this was back in 2021, and I started researching
I'm going to
blockchain. I
stop you
started.
because it's rapid fire, and it just
Oh,
should be
sorry.
some quick answers, right?
Well, sorry,
So
sorry. Well, Token
definitely
Allies is
Tech and
a good
Allies.
answer. Yeah,
Make sure you follow Token Allies. Check them out.
yeah. Thank you.
What's your favorite Argentinian city?
Uh, it's just so tough. I would say I gotta choose, but Calafate. I like Calafate. It's in
Okay.
Patagonia.
Give me one word that describes the future of blockchain in Latin America and Argentina.
I'm an overthinking, so doing quick fire chat doesn't help. Uh, I think it's inspiring.
Inspiring. What tech gadget can you live without? Can't live without. Sorry. What tech gadget can't you live without?
Or just my phone.
I think that's everybody's answer.
I just realized that I can work mostly with my phone. I don't need anything more than that.
What's the best book you have ever read?
Well, I really like autobiographies or biographies in general. I really like. I don't know why I like it so much. Maybe it's because I like the brand. But the book by Disney's CEO, oh, I forgot his name, Michael Kern, I think it was. It's a good autobiography of how he started working at, I think it was ESPN, and how he grew the ladder to become the CEO of Disney. That's a good book. I like it.
What is your ultimate goal in the blockchain space?
I think this is all about growing, not only as a person, because there's an individual journey in all of this, but actually growing as a like a grassroots movement, which Cardano was or blockchain is, and being part of that history is what excites me the most.
Yeah, I think that was a great little rapid fire session. Thanks for taking part in it. Dan, I want to thank you. I want to thank Lucas. I'm going to shut up. Dan, you want to kind of wrap us up?
Sure. So Lucas, how do I explain why blood sausage is so good? The blood chorizo is so good to people who don't understand it. How do I explain it?
So I know people eat blood sausage outside of Argentina. I don't know how we do it differently, but I love it. We eat it with bread on the grill, and
Yeah.
some people hate it, but I love it personally. Uh, so yeah, it's just the way to find out is to come here to Argentina and find out.
I find that actually Americans that like Americans, not like immigrants. In Eastern Europe, I mean, that's a big, like it's a dish. So I was familiar with that. I grew up with it. So when I came to Argentina, and it's made of beef because a lot of it was made of pork, and I don't eat pork. This was made of beef, and it's just like, oh man, I miss this stuff, because it's great. But and then some of my born and raised in America people were just blood
It
sausage.
sounds awful. It looks awful, but tastes amazing.
I love
I
it.
mean,
I love blood sausage.
yeah, it's well, yeah, but that's because you live in Pennsylvania.
True. Very
Yeah,
true.
yeah. It's like you get the Polish influence over there. Yeah, and that's why you got the P right there.
Chorizo.
P, yeah, it's P for Polsberg.
It's for pierogies. Pierogi.
Pierogies. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Chorizo is really, really good. Yeah. So what? Just okay. Really, really quick before as we wrap it up. I mean, what are the plans? What are the plans for Token Allies? I mean, we haven't spoken about that. What are just in general plans for what you're doing? Say for 2025. What are some big highlights to look forward to?
Of course. So Token Allies, for people that don't know, is a decentralized VC. Our main objective with the VC is said Cardano is amazing. We have the builders, we have the technology, we have everything, but we don't have the funding, right? And if we talk about funding opportunities in Cardano, yes, we might have some. We have project catalysts for grants. We might do crowd sales for projects. But the thing is, we are really lacking a mechanism as an ecosystem to scale projects, right? What happens after you launch an MVP? What happens after you already have a working that? Um, I think Cardano, we might be a little bit narrow-headed that this is just the end. Maybe you end with a crowd sale or whatsoever. But actually, if you look at how companies work in the real world, we need even more than that. There have been companies that have been working for decades, and they are still doing looking for investors, seeking for other rounds of investments. So in Token Allies, we were thinking is we need to actually create a fund, which is a decentralized fund, right? We doesn't have all the bad habits that we do have from traditional VCs that most people in Cardano don't even like or hate. So what we're doing is building a VC, and in just a nutshell, we are launching a fund early next year. We've been sort of working in the background for the past few months because we're doing some language migrations. We are migrating from Marlow to Icon, and we're liking Icon. So yeah, basically in a nutshell, we're preparing to launch a $1 million fund to invest in Cardano startups projects.
Yeah, that sounds really good, and I like the idea. I really like it. The decentralized VC model, I think, is a good way to go. Gives us some options in the ecosystem. Yeah, and we need options. And you know what? Um, I like what you said. There's a lot of proof of concepts out there, and there's a lot of people think, oh well, do a token sale, right? That's it. I'm successful. Like, or oh, I did an MVP, or I did a POC. Oh, we're done. We've succeeded. It's like, well, no, you literally just started. You literally just started. And
I'll give you an example. Here in Argentina, we have a digital bank called Walla. I think
Mhm.
they've been working probably for like 6 years or even more than that, and they just raised like $100 million round. What we're doing here in blockchain is not the start. This not it's not what the end goal. It's just the start. It's just the beginning.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So I really encourage projects to really deliver products. Don't think that we just need to do this for tokens, or we just need to do this for for clout or whatever. Just make a product, deliver it, put it out there, make things happen, live off of your profits, not grants and and things. And I think that's the way to go. And I think Argentina and what's happening there gives a really ample opportunity for projects to do so if they so desire, because of the openness, because of the access. So I'm really excited about LATAM. I'm really excited about Argentina. Thank you again for getting me out there back in July, which you guys get your seasons all mixed up. It was freaking freezing in July, freezing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was nice now. It's really nice. Like 29, 30 degrees outside, wearing t-shirts. I mean, it's
Good.
like it's
Good.
summer. It's like it's somewhere out there or something.
We are almost summer. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Lucas, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to have you. Great to see you again. I will be seeing you in a few months again. We're going to be down there once again, probably in the end of March, early April. So we'll see you then. And until then, again, thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining the mainstream. And so, yeah, I guess this is a good place to wrap it up. So, yeah, would you like to say anything, any last words to the community?
No, thank you so much for inviting me. I had so much fun, especially when we talk about. I had so much fun, and yeah, thank you everyone for hearing. If you ever have a question about anything we talk about in this podcast, about token allies, about Cardano as a whole, about government onboarding, about company onboarding, about Argentina, just hit me up on X. And sorry, I'm getting.
It's
Hit me up.
okay.
And that's it. Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right, thanks a lot. I guess, yeah. So next week, guys, same time, same
No,
place.
no,
same
no.
channel.
Next week. No, holidays, man. We won't be back until
What holidays? What
holidays are next week, bro. Like I know you're kind of behind, but there's like Christmas is next week, I think. So probably.
That's when all of us Jews go and get Chinese food. I forgot it's Chinese food day. Okay.
And then the New Year's after that. We won't be back until next year. We'll be back right after the beginning.
Okay, fine. All right. Not next week, same time, same place. Next year, somewhere in the beginning, same time, same place, same channel. All right. And until then, this is Dan coming to you live from Japan, signing off.